So let's go ahead and add some of our, that was a long reach, some values to our, the medium value in particular. So I'm going to get a little bit in the top of the tray. I'm thinking to myself, it may be just a little bit darker than what I want here. So let's try to make some space so we can see everything we need to see. Okay, that looks pretty smooth. All right, so like I did with the other painting application, I want to add the next values in I'm going to kind of start at the top and work my way down, or at least to the side. I don't want to attack the middle section on that as well. So the values I'm looking at are kind of around here. You'll usually find that things go from light to medium to let's see, some white, light gray, medium, dark, dark gray, on that sort of thing. And really this up here, this was our light gray, and so this is kind of the medium gray that we're looking at here, are these values around that. So let's this area, let's go ahead and add a medium gray. Now if you find on your initial applications that the paint is too light or too dark, make the adjustments right in through here. So as I'm starting to put this on here, it looked initially like it was a pretty good change, right? It's changing value on those, and so that's looking pretty good. But a lot of times if it gets stretched out and a little bit thinner, it's going to look a little bit lighter on that one. But I want to make sure that it's going just a little darker. And these are kind of rough edges. Since we're dealing with pencil lines that are pretty hard and pretty visible on that one, I'm going to have to just paint right up to the lines on those ones on that. Let's go into here, and I gotta just make sure that it's darker than the surroundings. Let's get some more juice in here. So it's got to be darker than that piece right next to it. And there's my finished puddle of the medium gray. And I'm just going to put a little bit more value in there. It is one big puddle, so I can swoosh it around. If it starts to dry, I can come and reactivate it a little bit. Okay, so that's our medium gray on that area. Let's pop to another area and get some medium gray. That's this one over here. And I'm just trying to make sure that I stay within the boundaries of my defined drawing, because, not because I'm committed to the drawing as much, but because of the value that the pencil is a little bit darker. And so I got to make sure I'm getting the right values in the area, so I got to paint right up to the pencil line, because then it'll become part of the boundary. Just tickle with the tip of the brush, moving it around. Remember, you don't want any little white halos between your value applications. So no little halos. Now I'm just going to kind of go around this area a little bit more, just to make sure the values are kind of even in this area. Now I mentioned I was maybe going to use a little bit of brown. Maybe we come in with here with a little bit of brown. Just, whoa! Wow, that was a lot of brown. I may have gotten just a little carried away on the brown on that one. Let's pull some of that brown out there. That was that was kind of crazy all of a sudden. That went totally brown. I don't want that much brown. I just wanted a hint of brown. Let's get some of the grays back in there. Okay, next one I'm just going to move across on that one just like we did on the other one when we were putting in the light gray. This is our medium gray. Remember, it has to be a little darker than what it's next to so we can see the value changes. And as the areas get bigger, you can use a bigger brush if you need to. That is a great thing. Fortunately, right now I have the areas are still a little smaller, so I can use my medium-sized brush. Come down into these little places, and the jiggity jaggediness of it all is a helpful sort of a deal. And I'm just kind of extending out the puddle. If you move across a puddle, it kind of can dry as you go. Notice I'm trying to keep those little jiggity jaggedy edges in there as well. That was part of the deal. It's part of what made the painting work. Now I'm just dabbing back in, add a little bit more dark value, right? You can dab in a little bit like that. That looks pretty good. So if I go across here, there we have in the three areas, we have dark or medium gray, medium gray, medium gray. Now in this little area here, there's a medium gray outside. It looks like on that one, I kind of just came down on it. There's this dark gray piece will take up into that area with the thickness of that paint. All right, let's go to our next area. We're just going hippity skippity across. The area within the ear here is what we're painting next. Got to get some black into the tray here. That's pretty heavy black, so we might have to use pretty good bit of water. Yeah, see, it's noticeably blacker than the other. Maybe as it thins, we'll be able to make that work a little bit better. Let's get some water. This is just water to try and dilute that out, and as I spread it out now over the area, it'll probably be more that medium gray that I'm looking for rather than a darker gray. Sometimes it's easy to kind of miss or forget what, where you're painting and what it is you're trying to do here. I got to save these little islands of light gray inside the ear here. So I got to make sure I don't paint over them. That'll be my tendency to want to do that, because I'm looking when they're right next to each other, they're right looking a similar sort of a value. Okay, this is still wet. And remember I had a little bit of brown in that other one? This time I'm just going to get the tip with some brown in there. There we go. Since the other ear had some brown in it, I want some brown in this ear too. There's a little bit of brown. Trying to eliminate the little white spots and paint up to the lines. Whoo! That was a good one. Okay, then it looks like there's some more of the gray here along the side of the ear. All right, looks like we've been painting for a little while on this, trying to get this going. Having all the little intricate details does take a little bit longer in our paint application as we work through it. But you can even now see that we are starting to get some divisions of here, some changing in values, and the painting itself is starting to come a little bit more in focus. Remember, it doesn't come completely in focus until you kind of get to the end with the black on those. So I'm trying to look through here. White, this one, this one. This is our medium gray in through here. This is the light gray, so this is going to be all medium up in this area. And we're just kind of going across trying to hit our mediums there. There's more medium stuff down in here too, I'm looking and seeing. Maybe we'll put some of that. This is some black and some dark grays in there. So it looks like to me I didn't draw all of the pieces in for the medium that was up here. And so with that being said, I'm going to come back in and get some of those inside here. It looks like so I'm looking at this right here. So this one I'm just kind of freehanding on that. And I'm making a little bitty lake. It's got to come down over here. Has to come down. That one's that black spot there. This is the middle gray. Oh, look, I'm running into some light gray so I can see the difference between the two to make sure my values are right. Okay, so it looks like, let's finish this up over here. So I have this still coming down here. Looks like I'm going to have some More mediums inside here. Remember, these parts are not drawn in, for me anyway. You may have drawn them in. And so I do have, this is, as this comes around here, this is a more of my medium gray coming down around the eye. There's a little bit more dark gray that I can put in there too. I was a little worried about this area just because I had the bottom part was this little line is a light gray, but I made it a little darker by accident, so I was a little worried. You always have to refer back to your original reference as well to make sure you are getting the right values. There we go. That was sweet, huh? Okay, so we got some of that in there. There's just a little bit of transformation as this comes around. Thin line of it. I could have gone some of this light gray out all the way to the side over here. I realize this application is going to take a bit of time because there's lots of medium gray. Lots of medium gray. And so I'm looking at these parts right here, and there's some lighter gray in there. I did not get those in, so I'm just kind of making the border the medium gray. If you have little nodules sticking out, remember they point back towards the eyes. Now I'm trying to make this edge a little more scalloped. And some of these are there's going to be some dark gray in there, and if I accidentally paint over that, that's okay. Remember, this needs to be darker than this, what's next to it. And And I came down here on this lower edge just because I was kind of in the groove there, building that out. And if I build it out along this way, the puddle will dry as I come down and not create streaks. And so I usually have to decide where my dividing lines are going to be. Like this part here, this is going to be that gray as well, but it's okay because it comes to a point, and if I have a little bit of a hard line there, that's okay. That's going to work for me. So as we're looking down here, this is that medium gray right there, and I had my initial lines, but I'm being a little bit going outside those lines and creating more of the textured surface that I'm looking for. Okay, that's pretty good. You can see where we have the different values coming around this side. Now I got to flow back into the middle section and get some more of the medium grays, like right in through here, and then on this side as well, and then get the nose. Then the last area is this little side area over here that has that medium gray. And so let's jump into it. I think that perhaps the medium is probably where most of your value is. Most of that area is the medium gray as we come down on those. Now there's some dark gray that's going to be eventually in here as well, so we'll do that. Let's take just a quick break then on that.